Dear reader, my house is somewhat of a mess because I spent most of December in a reading stupor, consuming book after book in bed and rotting like a little gremlin, enjoying myself and eating way too much takeout on my sister's dime. She came home and was all too pleasant. "No, I want to pay for you," she said. And then she said, "I have a lot of extra energy and I usually put it into doing the dishes, and you put your energy into reading and writing," she also said. I wish I would put more energy into cleaning. But it's Sunday, December 29th, 2024, as I write this letter, and I'm deciding to get my room in order and catching up on laundry a bit, resetting for the new year. I fell asleep last night listening to the audiobook Ta-Nehisi Coates' The Water Dancer, which my library has, but they don't have a Kindle version of the book, which their copy expired, which annoys me to some end. I think I might go out and just buy a copy of it just to make myself feel better, but I'm trying to get on a book buying ban. I want to make that my first read of 2025, I think. Ta-Nehisi Coates' book, and have that set the atmosphere for the year. I think that would be wonderful in some aspect, like something that proves that the world can be something more, specifically The Water Dancer. It's either that or recursion. I haven't decided yet. But 2025 is still a couple of days away from now, and I still have a couple of the end of the year reads I'd like to get to before that starts. I want to read Glass Sword before the end of the year, the second in the Red Queen series. It's interesting to see how it differs from a series that I was picturing about writing, also called the Red Queen series, but I suppose I'll have to rename it now that I know there's a series with the same name out to avoid confusion. Speaking of writing, I want to write a first book in a series, in that series sometime next year. I definitely have to work on my goals. I'm going to spend January working on a story that I started this month, which I told a friend about, which I'm seeing develop in some aspects. I guess I'll have to see how it plays out. I'm terribly excited about this story. It sets my brain on fire in some aspects with different possibilities. Anyway, the new year is firmly about resetting and getting back to basics, confirming one's own goals. And a lot of my goals are about writing, which is good. But because I asked ChatGPT how I could improve myself on my channel, and they said, try scripting your videos. And I find that the best way is to write letters. I'm good with letters, right? I was looking through some of my favorite quotes from my commonplace book that I wrote in the last couple of months, and I had found that I had to update it because I had this massive print file. It's like 25 pages, and here we are, and here are some of my favorites. Here are some from Northwoods. They call the mountain Blue Mountain because it was the color when I first saw it, and depending on its mood, it could be bright green, or black, or purple, or silver after an ice storm, or white with snow, or gold with sun. Witness trees, she'd tell them, an old term of trade for trees that marked invisible boundaries, now also used that were present at an important moment in our history. In other words, the ones that also witnessed us. From Ta-Nehisi Coates' The Message. Haunt. You heard me say this word a lot. It is never enough for a reader of your words to be convinced. The goal is to haunt, to have them think about your words before bed, see them manifest in their dreams, tell your partner about them the next day, to have them grab random people on the street, shake them and say, "Have you read this yet?" But the medium is the message. What is being learned by students is not just the fact they memorize, but the purpose of this knowledge. The statues and pageantries can fool you. They look like symbols of war long settled, fought on behalf of men long dead. But the redemption is not about honoring the past. It's about killing a future. Without this criterion, there can be no oppressive power, because the first duty of racism, sexism, homophobia, and so forth is framing of who is human and who is not. From the book The Holiday Trap. I know your family, But must I introduce you to my friend Boundaries and her friend, also Boundaries? I was going to say waking up an old man and realizing that you never took any chances in your life and choose ease over adventure, capitulation over intention, and other over yourself. But yours works too. We all judge our parents, Greta. They're people who teach us that the world is, and when we're old enough, we learn that they're wrong in ways that we didn't even know. They didn't even know. That's because the world is different from us. Signs, synchronicities, call them what you will. They're an indication from the universe that you're on the right track. You just have to realize romance is a cultural concept constructed from outdated and fictionalized notions of subjugating one's autonomy to the notion of partnership. So I hope these quotes might inspire you to pick up a book, or they brought you to some kind of comfort. I enjoy amassing them together and reading them for you. This letter was fun to write today. Maybe I'll write a letter doing an analysis of some of these books. Would you like that? I know I would. I know all of the books mentioned are worth deeper analysis because they have some insightful commentary on specific things. But I'll get to that in a separate video, I suppose. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, consider subscribing or hitting that like button. It really does help my channel grow, and I do appreciate you being here. It gives me all the warm fuzzies, to use proper business lexicon. Have you ever had that business training? As an aside, they talk about that book, Give 'em a Pickle, and they talk about warm fuzzies and cold blasts or whatever. I had that training at my corporate job, and I think about it every so often because it's a visual image of how we interact with the world, and it humanizes the world in such a way about giving the most to people, about not being shrewd in a way that takes away from things, or about bottom lines, but giving them something of quality that makes them want to return to you in some kind of way. And I've always lived my life in that I want to give something of quality, and perhaps they didn't ask for, but what they deserve. And you do deserve the good things in life. You really do. Anyway, billionaires could learn from books like that because honestly, it's not about having the most money, because although they think they do, because they think they're so smart because they've created a class of exploitation, it's diminished the working class. Anyway, I thought I would just slip that little tidbit under the radar. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you eat good food. I hope you get good rest. Maybe go for a walk in nature today if the weather permits. Anyway, love, Ari.